Okay, we're on page 6, or the last page of the notes for sections 4.5 and 4.6 in Algebra 2. In this next problem here, we're supposed to find the inverse of this 3 by 3. And I guess, fortunately, your process here is really complicated if you do it by hand, so I'm going to let you do it just strictly on your graphing calculator. And the basic process is you're going to type the original matrix and hit the inverse key and then simply write down the answer. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So I'll narrate to you the process here. You're going to say alpha zoom 3 by 3 and type in the original matrix, all 9 numbers starting with -3 to -1. When you're done with that, you're going to hit the inverse key to get that inverse symbol on there. And your inverse key looks like this on the side of your calculator. And when you type that and hit enter, you're going to get, hang on, I got to go find my answer here. Your inverse is 429, 214. I'm simply copying off my calculator here. Now, what that means in practice is that if you were to multiply this matrix, the original, without the inverse sign on it, by this matrix here, which is its inverse, you would get the identity matrix with 1s down the main diagonal and 0s everywhere else. And I'm using a highlighter there, but maybe you can see the inverse matrix or the identity matrix peeking at you through the pink. Okay, so we have our answer. It's 429, 214, -9, -419. That's the inverse. And I'll label the original right here as B. And this is a different matrix. It's B inverse. That's the symbols that would be used. Okay, in this last section here, we have a specific format for an a matrix equation. It's a simple product, A times X equals B. The unknown matrix is the X. The other two are known. And the memorized answer that they're just going to give us is the value of X is A inverse B. So here we have A, here we have X, and our third matrix that we know is B. The one we don't know is in the middle. And the answer is A inverse B. So we have to find this. Okay, we're going to find the inverse of this matrix, which we did earlier in these notes. It's 1 over the fish number. And the fish number here is 99 minus 100, which is -1. Then you have to switch places. And on the other diagonal, switch signs. Oops, wrong number there. All right, and then so far we have A inverse. We have this much of it. Now we're going to multiply it by the B on the other side. So A inverse B. And you're generally better off if you keep the division out of it until the end. So we're going to multiply these matrices. So we're going to have top row times only column. And that'll be 33 and 175 added together. Let me write that down. I think that's 208. And then in the other direction, let's see, the other look at station, you have those numbers multiplied by those numbers, the bottom and only column. So we're trying to fill this in down here. And we first of all start out with -12. And we add to that -63. And that turns out to be -75. Okay, and then finally dividing everything by -1 here, it just changes the sign. So we have our answer, x is equal to 208, negative 208, and positive 75. You can see I changed the signs by dividing by negative 1. Now on a 3 by 3, you're going to be expected to just do this on the calculator. So let me describe how to do this. Here's the memorized answer. You're going to take this matrix, which we're calling A, and you're going to hit the inverse key, which I've described several times as the one that looks like an X with a negative 1 power. And that'll give this, and then you multiply by the B, which is a skinny matrix over here. So let me show you what you type. You go 2, 0, 1, 0, 1, 4, 1, 0, 0. You can hit alpha zoom 3 by 3 to set it up. As soon as you've got that on your calculator, hit the inverse key. It'll look like that. And immediately go alpha zoom 3 by 1 and type in negative 1, 8, negative 2. And you should get your answer popping out here. Now, so let me see if I have that one. Okay, I don't. So I'm going to do it all myself here. 3 by 3 matrix, alpha zoom 3 by 3. And I'm going to type in 2, 0, 1, 0, 1, 4, 1, 0, 0. I hit my inverse key. Then I go alpha zoom 3 by 1 and type in the little skinny matrix, negative 1, 8, negative 2. And that gives me negative 2, 4, negative 2, negative 4, 3. And that's your answer. That's the X matrix that you were looking for. Okay, last problem here, and this one we can do all by hand. They're 2 by 2s. We're going to start by taking this matrix simply over to the other side and adding it instead of subtracting it on the other side. So we're going to get 2, 6, 1, 4 in X. And when you add that matrix to the other side, 6 plus negative 3, negative 5 plus negative 1, 2, negative 4 plus 2, and finally 9 plus 5, 14. Okay, then once we have this, we've got it in the format that we know the answer to. Ax equals b. Has an answer of x equals a inverse b. All right, so let's find the inverse of a. The fish number here would be 8 minus 6 would be 2. The determinant is 2, so 1 over 2. And then we take the a right here. Oh, I know what I did. Yeah, no, we're doing fine here. Okay, I take the a and I want its inverse here, which means I have to switch places, swap places, and in the other diagonal, switch signs. And then we multiply that by the B matrix, which is the one that's right here. Okay, so 1/2 times, I'm going to go ahead and multiply these matrices out. Let's see, there's 12 and 12 would be 24. The next one would be negative 24 and whatever that is. Let's see, 6 times 14, negative 6 times 14. That's negative 84, and we had negative 24 also. So that's going to be negative 108. Okay, so then the next pair, I'm going to switch colors here, would be those two, negative 3, and those two, negative 4. Negative 3 and negative 4 is negative 7. And then we switch to the bottom row and the right-hand column. And if you do that in the right order, you get 6, and 28. 6 and 28 is 34. Now all we do is take half of these numbers. It's going to be 12, negative 54, negative 3.5, and 17. And that does it for that problem and these notes. All right.